Hello everyone. Today we are gonna watch 3 different Dajarra species feed. Here we have the Acanthopus subspecies northern floodplains Dajarra. Again, according to Wolfgang Wüster, it's genetically identical with Acanthopus hawkei, and it's branded as hawkei in most European countries. Well, it comes from the northern floodplains. This is my male doing the happy Dajarra dance now. He actually managed to get the job done and get the female pregnant, and now he's still not fully out of the breeding mode after 3 months later, so he doesn't want to feed much. That's why I didn't have a strike shot of him, because he needed to be teased a little bit, and now he's acting all weird, but he's not letting the prey go, so I think he's gonna eat. I'm doing an Acanthopus video today, as I said. Acanthopus are death adders. They look like vipers, but they are actually lapids, filling the viper niche in Australia. Australia, even though it doesn't have vipers present, it has definitely the habitat that will easily accommodate vipers. So Acanthopus genus evolved viper-like characteristics to fill that niche. They have triangular head, they have vertical pupils, they are ambush predators, they wait for the prey instead of actively chasing like many other Australian lapids. This guy is, I think he's now about 5 years old, probably. He was with the female a couple months ago, in fact about 3 months ago, and the female is now very big and getting ready to drop a bunch of babies, so congratulations to him. He did the job done. And now he's finally feeding again. Really, this is his second meal in the last 4 months, basically, where he was only interested in breeding. He was roaming his cage constantly looking for a female, and the moment I put him in with the female, they mated, and then a couple weeks later they mated again, and everything seems fine. So today, this is the first species that I'm gonna feed. Let me talk a little bit about these guys. As I say, they come from the northern floodplains area of Australia. They are beautiful snakes. This guy is very dark right now, but in their normal colors they have these beautiful orange and yellow bands, and my female is especially spectacularly beautiful in that regard, much lighter than this guy, and the bands are much more visible. Okay, he's a little bit insecure for some reason. But he's eating, so that's good. As you can see, he lost some weight, obviously. Fasting months does that to you. He's been drinking regularly without a problem, so I wasn't, worried. I knew how he was feeling and why he wasn't eating, so it wasn't a disease or anything, which was alright. I tried to tease feed him last week, He bit the mouse a couple times but didn't hold on, but later on he ate it when I dropped it in his cage. And now this is the second mouse he's eating after this long fasting period, and I see him less roaming inside his cage looking for a mate. So I think he understands the season is ended. In fact, the female is about to give birth. In nature, these guys mate in springtime and give birth in autumn, and this is autumn already, so he should just get the message and start feeding and get ready for another breeding period. I don't think I will breed him and the female again next year. I'll have another species to breed, which I will show in this video. But I will see how they behave and how heavy is the female, etc., and then make a decision. And of course I have to see how the babies sell this year, because if I have a bunch of babies left in my hand, you know, there's no point of breeding the animals again. Some general information about Acanthopus. You know, I was talking about them being viperish in looks, but in genetics they're obviously in the same elapid family with taipans and brown snakes and cobras, bandies, coral snakes, all of these beautiful creatures. And venom-wise, also they are very elapid-like. They have very pure neurotoxic venom, so it attacks the nervous system. I think they are number 7 in the list of most venomous. A lot of those snakes are in Australia. And this is one species. Again, you'll see when I bring the other species as well. There's a lot of taxonomical issues when it comes to these snakes. For example, in the naturalists, Hauser, who is not taken seriously by most of the taxonomy family, calls these Acanthopus kumingi from his paper in 1990s, I think. But again, Wüster classifies these with the hawkeye, and a lot of people just call them subspecies, floodplains. It's a big mess, this whole family. Back in the day, you know, people would call almost all Acanthopus in Australia either antarcticus or prolongus, which is incorrect, but comprehensive study is needed. Alright, this guy is done. I'm glad that he ate this without much fuss, and I will try a larger food item next month and get him up to speed. Not next month, obviously next week. Alright, let's get to the next one. Alright, the next one in line is the beautiful Acanthopus subspecies Dajarra, or as Wüster classifies them, Acanthopus rugosus, or as Hauser classifies them, Acanthopus wolfi. Again, I told you, this whole genus is a mess. Okay, that was a nice feeding response. I don't know how much of it was in frame, but these guys eat like champions. I think these guys are approaching 2 years old now, both the male and the female, and they can easily be bred next year, next season. So in spring I will actually introduce these guys together and try to get babies next year. But yeah, this species in my opinion looks just amazing. So from the colors you can see they're a desert adapted species. I have never had shedding issues with these guys, even though they are kept quite dry, for example. They like their dry environment, and they pretty much hide themselves within the debris, within sand and plants, etc., and wait for prey, and then strike, as we have seen in the video. These come from, again, north central Australia, the Dajarra Desert. They're only found there, quite specific. Worcester, again, based on the evidence, I think DNA evidence, he puts them in the Rugosus group, and the rest of the Rugosus species, they live in Papua New Guinea. So, you know, it's an interesting classification. Again, the guy who named Acanthopus valsi, Raymond Hoser, calls these wolfie, and I just call them Acanthopus subspecies Dajarra. You know, same type of venom, basically very neurotoxic, very strong. In nature, these guys will mainly eat the common lizards in their area. So especially when they're, you know, very young, they have trouble accepting mice as prey. You know, it's a natural response to strike and wait until venom takes effect and the animal is incapacitated. So even though I feed frozen and thawed, you know, 99% of the feeding that I do, these guys still take their time and wait and then start eating. The coloration, the beautiful orange and yellow bands that you see, are very well adaptation for a desert environment. These guys become practically invisible in that environment, and you know, it would be hard to see them, especially when they are waiting for their prey in the ambush position. Alright, here he goes. Let's zoom in a little bit to the head so we can see the action better. He's using those fixed delicate fangs as meat hooks and basically pushing the mouse down. Quite effective method of feeding for snakes. Works quite well. And venomous snakes having those large fangs up front can easily utilize this method. In the meantime, I'm feeding my other snakes as well. I had to feed the ball pythons a couple live rats. Unfortunately, I have two ball pythons that kind of refuse to eat frozen. So I get large rats for them, and you know, once in a while, once a month, I have to go and, you know, buy live animals, and I really don't like feeding live. But I bought 3 in the hopes that the large female would eat 2, but she only ate 1. So the big Samar cobra got a live rat, and I just left the rat in the cage and just left the room because I really cannot watch small animals suffer. But when I came back 10 minutes later, the rat was quite dead. So very effective venom and did the job right away. In fact, it might be less painful than the ball python strangling these things to death. But I'm, mainly a venomous keeper. The 5 ball pythons I have are part of a project that I get going. But to tell you the truth, I don't have anything against them, but I don't like them much. They're quite boring, and without the imminent threat of death, they're not as enjoyable, I think. But this champion is doing a great job. I mean, that pattern just blows me away, really. Beautiful coloration. Just an amazing snake. And he's doing great with the small mouse. By the way, the next snake is already interested. It's an ambush predator, but it gives itself away so easily. The Acanthopus antarcticus, which I will film next, is just looking at me and shaking his tail, luring for food. Very interesting snake. And he's always ready to eat, where his sister is very difficult when it comes to food. She needs to be teased extensively. Alright, this guy did a nice job. He's almost done. Again, I got this male as a small baby, and he never ever had a feeding problem from the day that I got him. So it's not a surprise that he's feeding fine again. And the female that I got, which I got much older actually, is also a very good eater. So I think these guys will definitely be ready for breeding at around May, I would say. Alright, he is down to the tail. I think this is enough footage on this guy. And next I will get to the Acanthopus antarcticus male after I put this guy back to his cage. Alright, this is the last death adder to feed in front of the camera today. The beautiful Acanthopus antarcticus Sydney red, and he basically bit everything and anything that moved around him already, so he's ready. And I'll give him a nice mouse for his enjoyment. Let's see how he reacts to it. That was nice. A little from the side. Still very beautiful. And I'm sure it was very effective. zoomed out to show you guys the whole glory of this beautiful snake. He is absolutely spectacular looking, and I love him to bits. Again, unfortunately, the female that I have is, much smaller than him, because she's still being tease fed and she still eats, maybe only once in 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks. And the stress is more obviously because she get teased with the food for a while, and it's a tough situation for her. So she's still not in the same size at all, but hopefully, after 1 year of tease feeding, I'm hoping that one day she will just take her food by herself, and I won't need to tease her to get her to feed, and she will start growing normally. Alright, this guy gets to the business right away. As you can see, even though he bit from the midsection, he's slowly moving towards the head. Most snakes will start eating from the head, as it's much easier to swallow that way. I have, had issues with snakes trying to swallow their prey item butt first, and had a lot of trouble eating. But this guy is smart enough to start from the proper place. Of course, we do not discriminate between the snakes who like to eat butt first. That's their choice, and we accept them as they are because they're born that way. Anyway, this guy already got the head in order. As you can see, like the other ones, he's using those nice meat hooks to pull the prey in, and he's doing it expertly. This beautiful red color is definitely sought after within the Acanthopus keepers. It's actually dominant over gray, but due to the number of the animals that were imported in or smuggled in, I don't know, from Australia back in the day, they're mostly gray, and the red ones are quite more expensive in the market. As a personal preference, I love Acanthopus genus. In fact, my most favorite two reptile genus are Acanthopus and Naja or Naya. As you can see, they are heavily represented in my collection, and the other species are missing. Not because I don't like them, but I don't have the space. I'm guessing if I found the space to get some more snakes, I'd probably get a pair of Ateris. They are very nice animals. These bush vipers are very beautiful, and especially the black squams are just wonderful, wonderful animals. You can check my Instagram account. Again, my Instagram name is Acanthopus, so it's easy to find. I have a beautiful black squam that I took a picture at my friend's house. I think, that would be the next genus. And of course, if I had the ultimate space, I would probably get a Ophiophagus henna. But with kings, my main problem is them being snake eaters, and I really don't want to go through another conversion with a snake, and I cannot feed them their natural prey item because I like snakes too much to feed to other snakes. So for now, 3 pairs of Acanthopus and 3 pairs of Naja or Naya are what I have, plus my single beautiful rattlesnake. But I'm always looking for more Acanthopus, and I'm especially looking for the Pilbara Detetor Acanthopus dwellsii. So if anyone in Europe has a pair that they want to sell, please get in touch with me. Dwellsii are, I think the most beautiful snakes out there. Just amazing looking animals, and definitely the most beautiful Acanthopus. So I would love to get a pair of those. Alright, he is also doing a great job getting the mouse in, and I guess we have enough footage for this week. 3 different Acanthopus species in the same video, 3 males in fact, as one of my females is pregnant and in shed, and the other is a heart feeder. So I wanted to do all male show today. I only have 1 female that I could feed easily today, so I just did all males. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. Please respond to me in comments. Use that like button. Tell friends to watch the videos. I spend a lot of time in these, and really I'm a bit disappointed with the low amount of views that I have. I would really like a larger audience, so spread the word. Alright, I hope you liked this week's video. Take care. Bye.